for them, they don't want to go anywhere else. You know, see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I understand what you're saying. Okay, well, if it comes from Africa, why don't you just go to the source? But I'm already in this. We just agree that it comes from Africa, so I'm already in this. Now you want me to dump this teaching and go to the source, but this comes from Africa, and I'm good. I'm already in it. I'm deep in it.
But the thing is,
and it has. Oh, I'm sorry. That's what I was gonna say. When I was first looking into the religions, I was seeing you know, the little boys, like the little 10-year-old boys in the suits and stuff in New York, going to the school. They got a Nation of Islam school for black boys. That was wonderful.
Yeah, it looks good and it is good. You know what I'm saying? For the most part. But at the end of the
day, that's better than them having their pants off their ass. You know.
Okay, but at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? If we know where their teachings come from, like me and you know where the teachings actually come from. It comes from Africa and it comes from mostly Kemet. You know, Kemet is the teacher of all. When we do the research behind every religion, everything is pulled from ancient Kemet.
That's true.
So me and you know that, but a lot of people do not know that. So they are, yeah, like you said, they are going to the schools, young men, very intellectual, a lot of respectable Muslims that's intellectual. You know, they know a lot, and they speak really good to the black or to the black communities. Like Malcolm X, Khalid Muhammad. You know, that's good. But at the end of the day, you know, if we take the truth out of it, then it just becomes a lie. You know, even though it's good for you. You know, I'm gonna say this: rat poison is what they say 94% good for the rat, but it's that 4%,
6%,
the 6%. So it was 96. It's that 4% that kills them. You know, so why tell that so-called white lie? You know, because if it's not the whole truth, then they call it a white lie. So where does the white lie come from? A white man.
Would you say this, or would you agree with this? You just said that if you take all the truth out of all the religion, you just be left with a lie, right? So would you agree? Would you say that if you went around, if you had a magic vacuum cleaner, and you sucked out all the truth out of all the religions and teachings in the world, you think you have Kemet in the bag?
Yes, you just have Kemet.
All right, well that makes sense. That punches all that.
Right. So why follow any religion and have these different religion organizations? Because they all are different. You know what I'm saying? From the Christian to the Muslim, they all have different organizations in the whole. You know, because they don't subscribe to certain things out of their book. You know, so they have to make different groups. Why do that when you could just go to the actual source of all of these religions?
I know what I was gonna say when I said you made me forget. You were talking about truth being mixed with lies. That's what it reminded me of. That's true. These religions are truth mixed with lies.
Yeah.
But who are you? Who am I? Who are Muslims? Who are Hebrew Israelites to say, oh man, this is page 13. Oh, this is truth. Page 12, this is bullshit. How do we know? We know it's truth mixed with lies, but how do we know what is true and what is false? So some people you subscribe to the whole thing. And some people pick and choose. They might pick and choose a lie that works for them in their life and not knowing it's a lie. Or they might choose the truth. Like, how do you know what's truth and what's lie?
Well, with my research, of course, we know I was a Christian first. You know, and you was a Hebrew Israelite, so you can't talk about me. You was a gangster Christian.
Okay. You keep saying that.
But anyway, it was certain things that I understood, and you know, certain things I just went along with because everybody else did. You know, I was a part of the Christian community, and you know, it just certain things I just went along with. I'm like, okay, you know, a man built this huge ark for 2 animals each, and okay, well, look at what God did. Okay, Jesus walking on water. Okay, well, look what God did. Turning the the sea into blood or something with a staff or stick and turn it to a snake, and okay,
look what God did.
Look what God did. So it's a lot of things I just went along with, and then there's other things in the Bible that seem to be true, like a lot of stuff in Proverbs. It really, it really speaks something. And then other verses speaks things as well, like the verse when it says the verse where it talks about when a child is a child, and when he becomes a man, he should put those childish things away. That's real talk. But at the end of the day, who don't know that? Who don't know that stuff? If you're already doing the right things in life, you're probably gonna figure that stuff out anyway. You know what I'm saying? So is that the strongest thing that you need? There's other things that you need that we should subscribe to every day. Like I can give you an example. There's only 10 commandments. I never understood why it was just those 10, and most of them we go and get commandments every day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if we live in, if Jesus died for our sins, what's the point of making commandments anyway?
Well, because if you read the Bible, I gotta go there. If you read the Bible, brother, first of all, there are more than 10 commandments. The first 10 are called commandments, but there are actually 613. And Jesus didn't die.
There are 613 commandments.
Laws, I guess.
Laws.
Yes. The first 10, just like the first 10 of the government.
But Moses only brought down 10. Why?
No, he brought down all 613.
He carried
2 He carried. God did that. Look what God did.
Look what God did. He helped them be incredible hawk.
We don't know, that shit probably floated down there.
It floated down there to the people.
Yeah.
So they couldn't believe him.
Moses was on.
They couldn't believe him.
Moses was on that mountain for like 2 weeks. And that's when they made that calf and they started worshiping that. And then he broke them. He was up there and he broke the stone tablets. But anyway, the Bible says that Jesus didn't die for our sins. He's supposed to die for the sins of the Gentiles. Everybody who wasn't a Hebrew Israelite who wanted to follow God had to turn away from their sins. So he had to send Jesus. Wait a minute. No, that's wrong too. Jesus did die for our sins. He died for us. I'm confused. See?
You see what religion do?
See? The Bible said that Jesus died for Hebrews and no one else. That's what the Bible said.
Hebrews and no one else. So Hebrews is chosen ones that God said.
Yeah.
It's ones or something like that. They just how my mind went, because it didn't make no sense. Like how a certain people could be the chosen ones, but then you can make other people that's not. I don't know. It just seems a little iffy to me. But anyway, to make long story short, why subscribe to something that you don't believe into the whole thing? If you don't believe into the whole thing, you might as well go to the root of where that comes from.
I was going
to then subscribe to that.
I was going to speak on that. Okay, obviously we know that our ancestors back in Kemet had great supreme knowledge. Things that we can't even fathom today, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're not in Kemet. I haven't laid my eyes on a Kemet wall in my life except for through Google pictures, and that's a bunch of hieroglyphs that I don't know what they say.
Yeah.
So since I can't understand it, and since you say a bunch of religions are consisting of things from Kemet anyway, then a lot of people feel like we gotta take what we can get. We know it's lies mixed with truth, but this truth is good. It comes from Kemet, but we not in Kemet. We can't read the walls, and we don't have that supreme knowledge because it's been beaten out of us. Yeah. So we gotta take these books, these white pieces of paper, and we gotta make the best of it.
Okay, making the best of it. Making the best of anything is not subscribing to a religion. Making the best of it is to take what's out of that book, what's out of those books, and then come up with your own spirituality. Come up with your own understanding. Of course, you can keep reading those books, and then you can keep on coming up with new things. Having your own tradition. Having your own way of thinking. I want to talk about like who God is. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these religions will worship, these certain, like a being in the sky. You know what I'm saying? I used to subscribe to that. But at the end of the day, I didn't feel any powerful. Like I felt weak, because he used to say, pray every day, ask for this all the time, and things like that, or something like that. And I used to feel weak doing that. Like who am I? Why am I doing this? Why am I begging every day? And why am I not doing nothing about it? I'm just asking. Why not do something about it? And then once I did something about it, something changed.
Yeah.
So a lot of people would thank God for that, but really at the end of the day, you thanking yourself. You thanking yourself because you're the one that got up and go do it.
I used to feel that way too. I used to have problems, and I would want to pray about it, but I would pray so much. I would seriously say out loud, or even to myself, I'd be like, man, I ain't gonna bother him about that. I just bothered him last week. I would say that, and I just, things changed like when I made them change, just like you said. But I thank God for it, and if anything, I felt like I was begging. If anything, when I got to the point to where I was like, I'm not gonna bother him about that, because I used to ask for things literally. I used to say, oh, God, please, if my mom got sick, please help her get better, or please don't let them turn off my lights or whatever. But what I started to do was I started to ask for strength to get over things, and I used to ask for wisdom and stuff like that, and I would get it. I guess it was coming from me or whatever, but I didn't want to beg for literal things. So I started asking for spiritual things, and that's when I started to find peace. And that's when I really got deep in that whole Hebrew Israelite thing.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, you do have to do it yourself, really. And because when you ask, thinking on a psychology level, um, when you ask someone for help, it takes something out of you. It almost make you lazy in a way. It make you throw your hands up and say, I give, I need some help. Can you help me?
Jesus take the wheel.
You know what I'm saying? Almost like a Jesus take the wheel type of thing. You know, but not to be that sarcastic or anything. You know, that's what it does to you. And a lot of people do give up. That's why you see a lot of poor Christians, a lot of people that's so spiritual, but they don't have anything. They're not spiritual in a way that we think, like appreciating things, but spiritual as in they put all their faith in really nothing. Because when you ask no one, or when you ask, really you're asking yourself, you're talking to yourself so you can do something, and you sit there and not do it, but you want it to come to you, but you're not doing anything. So it really doesn't make any sense why you would ask for it and you're not going towards what you asked for. You know what I'm saying? So, why would you ask yourself something or ask? I mean, like.
Well, but think about it like this. Like, I used to pray for things that I didn't put any effort into, not because I didn't want to, but because it was completely out of my hands. And I used to get it. Like, this might be a terrible example, but it's the first thing that came to mind. Like, let's just say if this didn't happen in real life, or maybe it did, but let's just say, like, if someone or myself goes to get an HIV test,
Okay.
After I put that needle in my arm, I've had sex with people. I've took the test. I pray, oh God, please let this test come back negative. Please, oh, that's nothing I can do. But I can't go in there and change the test, and I get the call and the test is negative. I got what I asked for, whether it was him or not. And I used to ask for things like that all the time, stuff that was out of my power and out of my control that I could not get up and change.
I mean, that's on the same level as same line as, Lord, please let me get my check today, please. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then you end up getting your check today.
Right.
But the check was already in the mail. You know what I'm saying? You look at the date. Let's just say today is the 14th, which it is. And it was already put in the mail. It usually takes 7 days, so it's actually printed the 7th.
Right,
it's not like it was sent on the 14th. You got it on
but
the 14th.
I got an answer for that. You know the Bible got an answer for everything. Well, my answer don't come from the Bible, but I can only tell you my interpretation of that. I thought about that too. I'm smart, but I had to make it make sense, and I said, okay, well, maybe that energy that you put out in prayer, maybe God knew. Because God is all knowing, right? He knows what you're going to do before you're born and all this they used to teach. Maybe God, that energy that you put out, if you pray with a humble heart and you're a good person and you really want this, God knows it's coming. And so, not to put it in such a subtle and like comic book way, but this is the best way I can put it. God said, okay, today's Monday. I know that Chris is gonna pray for this on Friday, so I'm gonna go, and he humble and he good person. I know he gonna mean it, so let me go ahead and work this out for him right now. That's the way I made sense of it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
I don't know if that sounds crazy, but I usually believe that. I had to make sense
Everybody have their own beliefs, so it can make sense to them.
Okay.
You know what I mean? See, when you subscribe to something and it doesn't make sense, you make it make sense.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's why you have these different organizations in one community. And just thinking of the God thing, people say God is everywhere, right? Yeah. God is everywhere. He sees everything. God's everywhere, And, what is everywhere? Like, naturally. Like, what is everywhere?
Yeah, naturally, like nature.
Nature is everywhere. So if they say God is everywhere and nature is everywhere, when they make nature your God. So when you speak stuff out in the air so he can hear you, what are you doing? Speaking into existence, such as nature. You're speaking it out in the air. The air comes from part of nature. That's what you're doing.
It's like putting something out in the universe.
Yeah, you're putting something out of the air. You're putting something out to nature. You know what I mean? You're not knowing that you're saying that. In Kemet, they call it nature Neteru. Neteru was the all-knowing God. And the reason why Neteru is the all-knowing God?
Neteru is plural, by the way. Neter is singular, and Neteru means God.
Yeah, Neteru means God. So that's everything. That's everything around you.
Everything in the Kemet was a deity. The wind, the trees, the sun.
They appreciate it. Yeah. And they didn't worship like the God's son.
No, they paid homage to it.
They paid homage to it. It's just like
even I appreciated nature as a Christian.
As a Christian, the sun used to shine on my face.
I love
and I used to be like, man, it's a beautiful day. Look at God. God must be smiling down on me.
There you go.
And I used to, without knowing that, that's what Kemet did. But they had, they were speaking to the direct, the direct thing, which was Neteru. So it was like, look at God, or it could be raining and thundering. God must be mad. God must be mad. And all you doing is saying the Neteru is mad. Nature is mad. God must be mad. Every time you subscribe to the God concept, you talk about something with nature.
Like, what do you think people were saying when Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans? God did that.
God hate New Orleans.
God was tired of all that violence.
God was tired of it. So
he wanted y'all to wake up. God sent that hurricane. That's all they were saying.
You know what I mean? God didn't come. You didn't hear a voice like, hey,
no, I heard
tripping.
Weather. I heard weather.
Y'all tripping. I'm gonna just take this down and use this hand. And took the levees off itself. Like, you saw hands just, that was God right there. Nah, you're talking about nature. You're talking about nature. So what matters is that we are still doing what they did at Kemet. Well, nowadays we're being lied to with this other knowledge that comes from somewhere else. I'm going to say Greek, but it comes from white people at the end of the day. White people took our knowledge and shaped it into something else, And that's basically what's going on today.
So what's the point? If white people take the truth, they know the truth obviously to mix it with the lies, then what's the purpose of the lies? What purpose of the lies?
To control you, to control the community. After all, this world, and I would say United States in general, I would go to this world with something else. The United States in general, it's a business. You got to know that they came in ships, so they came from other lands to control this land. You understand? So you got to know in those other lands, they still have a part in this land. So they report back to where they came from.
Mm-hmm.
Where they get whatever word from whatever country they came from.
Absolutely.
They put it back here. And they report whatever money, whatever gold and oil, they report that back. You know what I'm saying? So you may see wars here, there, and the third, but it's only because it's authorized by the person or people that own this business we call America.
It's a corporation.
It's a corporation. It's a business. They don't look at the community, us people, as actually people. They look at us as products of their business.
I was just about to say that whatever business, you need consumers to be successful. And you're not going to have consumers if you're teaching everybody how to be a business owner. So back to the question I was asking you, they mix it with the lies to control the people.
Exactly.
Somebody got to be on the bottom for someone to be on the top, right?
Exactly. And it's only a select few. I wouldn't even say select few, but it's only a small bit on top and a lot at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? Getting stepped on by these people we don't even see. We don't see these people on television. We would think that the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers is the true people that
that's not true. But
that own the world. Don't be silly, baby. But we'll think these people that own the world, but it's probably someone way different than that. You know what I'm saying? They probably report to someone else. You know what I'm saying? But it's more than that. It's more than Illuminati. It's more than whatever people think it is. It's more than the devil. You know what I'm saying? It's more than that.
Well, I think it goes back to what I said earlier. I think that a lot of people, especially black people, just like the feeling of belonging. So they subscribe to these different religions because now it's part of the group. They're part of a group. And, one brother said recently in a video, he was, saw another was talking to him and he was like, something about racism. And he was like, it's not about what people look like, it's about what people think like. He was like, it's not about white people, it's about people who think alike run together. And it just so happened that white people happen to think alike is what he was insinuating. So you're in this religious group and people subscribe to the same things that you do, so you're comfortable and it works for you. Just what's wrong with individuality? I mean, where I'm from, believe it or not, we didn't have gangs. I don't know what the fuck Lil Wayne talking about. We didn't have gangs. We had sex. I mean, if somebody came from our neighborhood and wasn't from around there and was, making mess, and we deal with you like that, but we didn't have gangs.
Yeah, y'all probably didn't mess with too many Californians.
People from California came to Louisiana with that gang stuff, and we told them, y'all was tripping. We don't do gangs. Every man for himself.
They came to St. Louis, and yeah, we had gangs in St. Louis.
We don't.
I mean, yeah, that gang stuff did originate for real from California, and then they went from California, spread it out through America, and they started gangs there to make money. I guess they wasn't making that much money. There's too many gangs going on that was making money in Cali, so they went elsewhere.
So my point is get out of your religious gang. Well, gangs are never good.
But gangs are religions as well.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Get out of your religious gang.
Gangs, because if you think about it, even gangs, if you think about the whole concept of a gang and starting a community, with gangs, or starting some type of gang, they really come from Africa. You know what I'm saying? With tribes. All you're doing is starting a tribe. You know what I'm saying? You're starting a tribe of people. You teach them these things that you know. and then you tell them how to make money or how to do this or how to survive and things like that. You know what I'm saying? So even what they did in California, that came from Africa. You know what I'm saying? They had something in them, even though they came here as slaves or they was already here as slaves. They had something installed in them to go out, even though it was corrupting in their mind, to start a community of gang, bloods, crips, folks, whatever. You know, because even in that, there's a whole bunch of different types of crips. There's a whole bunch of different types of bloods. There's, you know what I mean? And a lot of these crips don't even get along. A lot of these bloods don't even get along. Even that's the confusion in there. So you can relate that to religion as well, like you were saying. But all of this, it still comes from Africa. So someone may be like, why should I subscribe to being a Christian or Muslim and the Crip gang is all I know is what taught me more how to be a man than anything, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it came from a corrupt way of thinking. You know what I'm saying? Same with Christians, same with Muslims. It came from a corrupt way of thinking. At the end of the day, it's flat out. Why don't you just go back to the true ways, the African ways, what we used to think back in the day, in the ancient days.
And I don't know why people are so afraid to take that step, because to relate it to, I mean, how many times have you heard the gangster, gang story? I used to be a Crip, but I found you. You know what I'm saying? All right, just like
one gang to another.
Just like you can do that, why can't you say, okay, I'm a Muslim, but I'm not going to be ignorant or closed-minded to this information that someone else is trying to give me? No, you stuck on being a Muslim. What would the world be like if all these ex-Crips and Bloods would have stayed Crips and Bloods and not have found Christianity? Then they probably moved from Christianity and they became Buddhists. Then moved from Buddhists to become a Muslim.
They would have found something to be a part of, you know.
They'd be dead.
Yeah, or something different.
So all people are saying, okay, you a Muslim, but I'm just trying to show you something else. Just look at this other information. But religion teaches you to be loyal.
You can be the wrong thing.
To the wrong thing.
You know, and yeah, what if you learn Kemet, if you learn about chemistry, everything that was ancient Kemet, they teach you how to be your own person. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't teach you to subscribe to a certain way of thinking. It really teaches you how to be your own person. You can take a lot of stuff from Kemet and put it in your own life and live today and do really good. You know, you don't have to do exactly what they did. You know, as they say, Kemet is the teacher. You know, you learn from the teacher. You don't be just like the teacher. You know what I'm saying? You don't sit there and learn from your elementary school teacher so you could be just like him. No,
you
learn from,
and then you move on to middle school.
Yeah, you take from the next teacher, then you take from the next, and the next one, the next one. Exactly. You keep going. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So even back in the day, they had one teacher. This one teacher didn't teach the same subject over and over and over again. Like, Christianity and a lot of other teachers in the religion does. They teach the same thing over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? They teach you different things, so you can open your mind up and be your own person. They don't teach you how to be like them. You know what I mean? A lot of teachers don't get paid enough anyway. You know what I'm saying? There's garbage men that get paid more than teachers. So and they pick up garbage. So, I mean, that's something else. That's another story. But
that's probably why they get paid more, because they pick up garbage and teachers put it out.
These days they do. These days they do. They do put out a lot of garbage. Especially coming from these white people.
It's funny too, because just the other day I was going by my mom with the kids, and school was getting out, and I saw school buses stop and letting children off, and I just shook my head. I was like, look at the indoctrination bus. That's all it looked like. All these poor little children, just I don't know what they're learning.
You send them off to Caucasian
for 8 hours
boot camp. For almost the whole day, really. You know what I'm saying? By the time they come home, it's time to eat. It's time to do more schoolwork.
Indoctrination work.
They didn't go to bed with that schoolwork in their head.
Then you got,
or whatever they learned at school,
And then, and let's not forget the TV time.
It's always TV time. If not on a weekday, then it's definitely on the weekend. So if you're not getting programmed at school, then you are getting programmed on the television. And, they do call these things programs for a reason. Programs are used to control.
Program you, right?
To program you. To program that computer in your head or the computer chip if you have that in your head. That's just the way it is. That's just the way they made it to be. And it's sad that we subscribe to these certain things, but that's the way society is. That's the way that this community was built.
Mm-hmm.
It was built so the parents would not be in the home. They could work, both parents working full-time jobs just to put food on the table. So they have to put their kids somewhere in the meantime. So they put them in school. Most schools are free. At least the public schools are free. If you really want your kids to learn, then you have to pay for that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If you really want them to learn, then you gotta pay top dollar.
That's why college isn't free.
So it's and still even in those charter schools or the school you have to pay for, they're still being programmed in there because they don't teach you all of the truth. They teach you a better truth.
See, public schools, and I won't say all schools. I'll just say really general or specific, and I'll just say public schools. Public schools don't teach kids how to think. It tells them what to think.
They basically tell them how to work for somebody else. They say this, if you want to have a job, you better have a high school education at least.
Yeah.
If you want to have a really good job, you better have a college degree. Mm-hmm. They don't tell you how to own your own business though. Mm-hmm. They don't say if you want to.
You can't get a good job without a college degree.
Like if you want to build a community, go to this college. They don't say if I was to hear that to build a community, I'd be at that college for sure. You know what I'm saying? But they don't have those courses: how to build your own community, how to run your own country, how to do this, how to do that.
Well, there's business management courses.
There's business management.
Yeah,
or their business owner
owner courses. Yeah.
You got entrepreneurship. They only have certificates for that.
They really don't.
They have certificates for that. So you got to know just to have a degree, you're gonna be working for someone. Because like if you have a degree and you hire yourself, what's the point of having a degree?
Says the guy in school right now.
Says the guy that's in sports management, whatever. That's besides the point because